would you be able to share any future plans for Valence vibrations, and maybe some thoughts on what would you like to communicate using vibration besides emotions, maybe?
Yes. So in terms of future plans, we're launching Apple Watch before the end of this year. It'll be in the next couple of weeks. So very excited about that. We're deep in our beta right now. And so far so good with feedback. So we're really excited for this initial Vibes launch. We're also going to be expanding to Zoom early next year. So we will have a Zoom plugin that doesn't rely on haptics, but does use sort of this emotional subtitle functionality. It will have a visual label on the Zoom screen next to your name so that you can receive real-time emotional subtitles using similar algorithms to what we have created for Vibes for Apple Watch, but using visual labels rather than haptic labels. And the thinking here in terms of how we want to expand the product is ultimately we'd like to become the ubiquitous emotional subtitle plugin company. We think that that is truly the future of improving communication across people, particularly in the disability rights space, but also across cultures, accents, and other communication style differences. And for Zoom in particular, the most pro-communication way, as I sort of earlier referenced, is to have a visual label on the screens that you're not playing around with your watch while you're in Zoom. You're directly looking at what you're supposed to be looking at while receiving this information, just like you are with the Apple Watch when you're in an in-person conversation. So we'd like to expand to other platforms in the future to really create emotional subtitle accessibility in all places that people are interacting on the internet. There are already sort of closed captions as sort of commonplace everywhere that people are interacting, whether it be social media, entertainment, video conferencing, and we want to see emotions become the next addition to that. Other than that, we really need to expand the language diversity in our models to have different markets open up for us. Right now, we are trained on North American English, so we can't guarantee accuracy outside of that specific subset of English. We'd like to expand to all the languages that we can, and that's a future goal for us as well. Primarily sticking with emotions in North American markets for the short term, but ultimately we would like to expand abroad. And then in terms of other things that we'd like to communicate with emotions, with vibrations, I would like to see more nuanced emotional information first before sort of straying from emotions. I think our true sort of special sauce as a company is our pipeline to actually interpret emotions in the way that we're doing that with tonal analysis in real time. And so we'd like to be able to convey more nuanced emotional information regarding valence and arousal levels and mapping that to an intensity scale of emotions and vibrations ultimately for haptic products, so that we're able to convey more nuanced, precise emotional information using haptics as the form factor.
Wow, these are very ambitious plans. Very, very ambitious plans, and I wish you really good luck with all of that. It's like really uncharted territory in many, many ways.
Thank you.
So probably my last question, because you're a very inspiring figure for many, many women, entrepreneurs, being a student, you have so many roles in your hands, right? So could you please give some inspirational kind of advice or tip to anyone who is trying to do startup in the tech industry specifically while being a student or maybe a female student, like a couple of words for inspiration?
Of course. I mean, I mentor a ton of future student entrepreneurs, and that's something that's very near and dear to my heart because I think it's a very challenging space and there's a lot of room for more people to step up and make their mark. So I would say like my best advice for female student entrepreneurs, or really any student that wants to start a company or create something and has social impact in mind, especially, is to make mentors early on. That was pivotal in my journey. I early on in college started working for a neurotech nonprofit called BrainMind, made a ton of networking experiences through BrainMind and a ton of mentors. And that was super important early on for my journey. When I decided to start a company, I had all of these people to ask questions. I think the most interesting part about being an entrepreneur is that you are doing something different literally every week. So at the beginning, you're really excited about the science and your specific product, but then you actually start the company and there are all of these other dimensions of being an entrepreneur that you've never even thought about before. And so it's something that you have to quickly get up to speed with so many different dimensions of how to start and run a successful company and scale that company. So making mentors early on was super pivotal to my journey in understanding that I had people to lean on when I had questions and was able to speak with domain experts about different things. So BrainMind in particular, and helping me build my neuroscience connections was really helpful. And I think too, just from a confidence perspective, having the confidence to say, I have fully researched this idea. I really want to see this come into the world. Getting out of the building and talking to as many potential customers as you can early on to really use their wishes and wants to guiding a product that people are going to become obsessed with is the way that you can build confidence as a student entrepreneur, and knowing that this is a product that a lot of people want to see out into the world. I have the right team, or I can create the right team around me in order to see that dream actualize, and just, not giving up. It took a lot of hard work, and, especially being a student, there were a lot of sacrifices that we had to make to really prioritize this company. And now I'm graduating in like 2 weeks, and
congrats.
I'm really excited to be working full time and able to really take our company to the next level. So yeah, that's my advice.
Thank you so much for this inspiring talk. Actually, I really hope it will help to at least some of the starters right now at this moment. And it's very interesting. It's been very interesting to learn about the process behind your solution, behind Valence vibrations, and your inspiration and your actual whole journey, how you got there. So I really appreciate you sharing this with us. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
On board. Great to have this conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you.